Hey lovies, welcome back to my channel. I'm gonna be 100% real. I tried to record this so many times. I even had to take a step back. I deleted all the previous footage and I was like, I'm just gonna restart from scratch. Because this topic really is a difficult topic for me to discuss. I thought my previous video on suicide and bullying was gonna be difficult. It was, but nowhere near as difficult as this. And I think it's because it brings me back to a time in my life that I hit my lowest. I'm just gonna dive right in. I wanna talk about the loss of a child. I'm not talking about the loss of a child from death, you know, one that we get to bring home and we get to raise up. I'm talking about the children that are never born. The ones that we carry in our womb and for some unknown reason, we lose them. It is so hard to fathom what so many people go through. It is so hard to fathom the idea of individuals that go through infertility and are never able to have children. And that brings me to my story. I told you guys in my previous video that I had been raped, and I'm not going to go into details. One of the rapes that I had been through was a very, very bad rape, and I was told that I would never have kids. And I remember just feeling this emptiness inside of me and just wondering, what's the point? But then God graced me with 3 beautiful children. So I have come to learn that I don't always have to trust what the doctor says. Sometimes doctors can be wrong, but I serve an awesome God and he's never wrong and he's always on time. So the story that I want to share with you that broke me like you would not believe was in 1998. I was a senior in high school, getting ready to graduate. And of course, I was young, I was foolish, and I married Nathaniel's father in high school. I mean, I didn't even tell my parents about it. That's how stupid I was. I found out on Mother's Day that I was pregnant, and I remember just being over the moon thinking, wow, this time next year, I'm actually gonna be a mommy. There were just so many raw emotions that went through me. I just kept thinking of all the things I was gonna do with this baby, the life that I wanted to give it, the type of parent I wanted to be, and just everything went through me like an overflow of feelings. I can't even begin to describe it. And we went in for an ultrasound, and during one of my ultrasounds, I was informed that the heartbeats had stopped. When I say heartbeats, I mean I was carrying twins. I immediately felt a sense of dread and disconnection from my own body. I just see myself and I just felt emptiness. I felt nothing for a moment, and from feeling nothing, I just remember crying hysterically. I locked myself in my room that entire evening. We were still living at home with my parents, and I was waiting to graduate. We were waiting for military housing to open up, and I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know what to think. I went home, and of course I took it harder. My husband, being in the military, had to go to work, and I was at home just feeling lost. And my best friend at the time was pregnant as well, and I remember we had talked about, you know, all the things we were going to do together and how we were going to raise our babies together. We were just so excited. And then I had to give her the news that it wasn't going to happen. The plans that we had had to raise up a child together, well, our children together, had been taken from me. And I just felt so defeated. And little did I know that the very next day from getting that devastating news, I would get even more devastating news. And that was, I lost my dad. I was so caught up in my own emotions that I didn't even know what was going on around me. I remember sitting at the kitchen table, forcing myself to eat something, and I had my baby brother put a blanket on my father. He was laying on the floor, and I thought he was napping. And my mom came home, and the scream, I'll never forget that scream. And she knew something was wrong with my dad instantly. I went to his side, and I had my CNA, I knew CPR and first aid, and I froze for a moment. I ran and got the neighbor to get help, to calm my mom down, and I came back, and then I remembered what I needed to do, but I was still paralyzed, and that coupled with losing my dad, it was just too much to bear. And I remember thinking, the only thing that got me through was thinking that God wanted my dad to be with his grandchildren, and that God would grant me with a baby when the time was right. But it didn't ease the pain. The only thing that made it easy for me was knowing that my dad would be looking over them. I dealt with the depression. I dealt with losing my dad. I had to deal with both, and I didn't have a supportive partner at the time. And so I fell into a depression that I can't even begin to explain. I learned to cope. Some way God helped me cope with it. And before I knew it, I was pregnant again with Nathan. And from getting raped and being told I would never have kids, and then the miscarriage. Of course, I experienced miscarriages before then. That particular miscarriage somehow broke me. I can't even begin to explain it. But like I said, the only thing that gave me peace was knowing that they were with my dad. And then, of course, I was blessed to have the 3 that I have. As many of you guys know, I was with Renee for a very long time. The very beginning of our marriage, I had gotten pregnant despite having my tubes tied, and we lost that baby. I always wonder what kind of life we would have had if God had allowed that baby to be born. But then looking back now, I know that God had a perfect plan, and I'm exactly where I need to be today. And so I know that it's hard to experience the loss of a child, whether it's a child we're holding in our womb, or it's one that we've given birth to, that we've gotten to see live in this world. It's hard either way. I don't care what anybody says. For those of you that are that mock the mothers that are down and out when they've lost a baby via miscarriage, shame on you. I know that sounds harsh, and that may make me sound like I'm judging, but that's the point. No one has the right to judge anybody. We all deal with things in our own way. Miscarriage it's hard, and I wasn't gonna film this video. I contemplated it. You know, I showed you guys a glimpse of my life and the darker side of what I've been through in my video regarding bullying and suicide. I'll link that video down below if you do want to see it. I struggled with if I should post this video, but I saw Bizarre Beauty. She is a fellow YouTuber, and I absolutely admire her. I love her channel. I love her work. She's just an amazing woman. She has 1 million subscribers, and honestly, she deserves so much more. She's just that amazing. I will put her channel in the description below as well. She's a breath of fresh air, to be perfectly honest. I saw her video today on her loss. It broke my heart to see her so down. You could see the pain in her eyes, and you can hear the pain in her voice. And it was at that moment that I knew I had to post this video. I had to share my story in hopes that it would help others. Don't think for a second that you're flawed because things went wrong in a pregnancy. I know it's only human nature for us women to feel like it's our fault. What was wrong with our body? What did we do wrong that we weren't able to sustain this little living human being inside of our womb until it was time to enter it into this world? You did nothing wrong. Maybe God knew it wasn't the right time, and when it is, He will bless you with that little bundle of joy. And I know that there are so many women out there that deal with fertility issues, and I know that's heartbreaking. I remember thinking back when I went through that and being told I would never have kids, just that darkness I felt. And when I watched Shannon Rose's, progression and her struggles and everything, and now to see her with her little bundle of joy, it just gives me a sense of peace. It gives me a sense of hope to know that God knows what He's doing and He's in control. And so for those of you that have recently lost a child while pregnant, I want you to know that I'm sending you a virtual hug, and that it's okay to take the time you need to mourn the loss of that child, because no matter what anybody says, that is a part of you. That was your little baby. And from the moment we find out we're pregnant with these babies, we fall in love. And the moment we lay eyes on them, that love just grows undescribably. So again, I said it before, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to get help if you need it. You're not flawed. You're human, and it's okay. I hope that you guys have an amazingly wonderful and blessed day. I hope that you enjoy the content in this video, and if you found something in this video that sparked interest, or you were even interested in what I had to say, I would hope that you would subscribe. With that being said, you have an amazingly wonderful and blessed day. I love you guys. Mwah.